podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
No question about that.
That was good. I enjoyed that, Ed.
Was it? Was a bit good. It was a bit good.
We're recording this at 8:03 on Wednesday night. Having
you went to Old Trafford, part-timer. Classic.
All those slightly eerie videos shot from before the game of just it looking silent and echoey on match day. But before we get onto all that stuff,
the rap was nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to start by saying we've just watched Manchester United absolutely demolish Sheffield United in one of the most one-sided Premier League games between two teams one place apart in the league that there's probably ever been, right? A complete and utter demolition.
Yeah.
What were we worried about?
Well, we were worried about Sheffield United pre-COVID, post-COVID. They're not very good. Apparently, they've not hit the ground running at all. Whatever United's preparations were has really worked. They came on strong against Spurs in the second half when Spurs didn't look at the races and United looked fit. And they started the game in the same fashion, didn't they? So, I mean, Sheffield United had 2 shots in the first 12 minutes, which Jamie Redknapp took to mean a positive start. For that, I was like, what are you talking about, Jamie? 0.1 XG. Last mention of XG I'll make during this podcast.
I can't promise the same.
0.12 XG. You could almost get by accident. Like, just a misplaced pass was recorded as a shot, or the goalkeeper hits it a bit too long. It's hard. It's hard. There cannot have been many occasions in the Premier League that a team has got that little XG. Anyway, just to say, Sheffield United did absolutely nothing in this game, and United were very good. Just stroked the ball around. It was lovely to see the passing. Pogba ended the game with the most chances created. Even though, actually, I don't think it was his best ever game for United, but it was a very effective one. It's because he was deeper, but he still managed to create those chances. Bruno with all the flicks and tricks, many of which weren't coming off for the first half, but one came off big time in the second half. And Martial with a hat-trick. Yes.
So the first league hat-trick since Alex Ferguson retired. I'm not sure if, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard that statistic anywhere in the last 2 hours, but I've seen it mentioned an awful lot. Lovely that it was Martial to do it, playing at number 9. A lot of doubt has been cast on his ability to play as a centre-forward, but I don't share that doubt, obviously. As has been
19 goals in all
abundantly
competitions. It's his best ever return for United, and he scores goals when he's in the centre. So
yeah.
There's 7 league games, the FA Cup and the Europa League. He could finish on 25 goals. I mean, he should finish on 25 plus goals, and that's what you want from your leading striker.
Yeah. And a front 5, I mean, the really exciting thing about this game, the excitement started right from the announcement of the team sheet, because we had the front 5 that we were hoping we would have, and it was maybe Matic ahead of McTominay, but actually I think
good game.
Matic should be first choice ahead of McTominay at the moment. I think he was good again today, and we have to remember he was good for, 2 months straight? I don't remember exactly, but I remember him being good for an extended period at the back end.
And I don't know whether I quite agree with he should be first choice. It's a little bit horses for courses where you're going to have a lot of possession like this. Matic is a better player on the ball, for sure.
Yes.
And when he's not under pressure, he looks good. When you need an engine, it's not Matic.
Yeah,
and I'd be
obviously
worried if we were playing Bruno and Pogba and Matic, say, away from home against a team that had a lot of energy in midfield. There'd just be players flooding past Matic. Although Pogba played an extremely disciplined game today.
As he always does.
As he always does. And you don't get the best side of him. Of course, he can be more devastating when he's further forward, but he still managed to create chances today.
Yeah, and it's like, you say you don't get the best out of him, but he was skipping past players, creating chances, doing madnesses. Like, One of the beautiful things is it's just visibly clear on the pitch that he doesn't feel like he has to do everything. He's looking around, going, he's got Rashford in form on the left and Mourinho not managing him, Martial ahead of him, Greenwood on the right, and Fernandes alongside him. He just looks around like, oh yeah, I can try some stuff, do some stuff. If I'm in a tight corner, of course there was one moment, the one where it was when it was 2-0 still, and Martial ended up nicking the ball off him. That run, and we say you didn't see the Pest of Pogba in this game, we did for like a couple of minutes, because that was as good as anything he's ever done. Like, absolutely extraordinary. The drag past, like where he puts his foot above the ball and drags it past the defender. I mean, it was lovely. Miraculous.
I mean, of course, the coverage started on Sky Sports with Souness and Redknapp having to go at him. I just honestly, it's just... I don't want to labour this point because we've talked about it too much, but for f***'s sake, I mean, come on, guys. It's so boring and so ridiculous. Just leave it. If you've got nothing more to say, shut the f*** up.
Or stop watching them. We should all just stop watching them. We should all stop giving them attention because they're playing the game. They are the Katie Hopkins of football. Like, we shouldn't... I mean, we genuinely... shouldn't even be addressing it at some point. Like, yeah. We've made the point. We've laboured the point because it's a point that's worthy of labouring. It's disgraceful and pathetic and doesn't bear any relation to reality. They can just sod off. Like, if they're going to say that stuff about... If they're going to say that about a man like Paul Pogba...
I just love it. Anyway, final point on Souness. Earlier in the week, he gave an interview in which he said that Aaron Wan-Bissaka shouldn't be going to ground so much and he never gets forward. It was kind of sweet when Wan-Bissaka set up the second goal. Well, let's talk about the first goal first. Yeah,
which Wan-Bissaka was right up the pitch taking the throw-in. That started the ball rolling. And what a goal it was. Producer Tom in the no question about that WhatsApp saying United need more goals like that, bread and butter, which led to a discussion about the high quality of bread and butter he must be eating because that was an exceptional bread and butter goal. Rashford leathers a cross in. I don't know whether he meant for Martial to be able to snap that in from where he was or if he was trying to get it past him to the back post, but Martial with incredible control to keep the ball down and get it on target at that pace.
I mean, all sorts happens when you put a ball into that kind of area with that kind of pace. I think that's perfectly legitimate from that point of view, especially you've got someone who's got good touch, good feet like Martial, and if he doesn't get it, it's possibly bouncing off a defender into the goal. So that seems perfectly legitimate. Good quality by Rashford to get the space and then put the ball in.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we had a couple of moments of Rashford struggling a bit. There was the one with the air shot, right? So the ball came across over the top of him. Lovely ball. Was that maybe from Fernandes? Can't remember exactly. I haven't got notes. But anyway, lovely ball. Rashford has a kind of skyer at it. Then there's a counter-attack. Martial is released. He stayed onside. We should just, talk about centre-forward play. He pulled his run back in, so he kind of curved it around the offside trap. Acres of space. Keeper commits, at which point Martial slides the ball into Rashford, who sadly got his feet all muddled. I'm sure he wasn't expecting the pass. I'm sure he was expecting Martial to try and dink the keeper.
Yes, I'm sure Trashford was trending on Twitter at that point for 3.4 seconds. No, it's really funny. There's a community of people who absolutely hate him. It's really don't get sucked into that. I kind of find it amusing.
Yeah, I just don't want to give them any airtime either. Like, this is just stupid, isn't it? Rashford with 2 assists in this game. I mean, he made those 2 mistakes with chances, and he kind of looked a bit fed up with himself at the end of the game. Understandably so, because he obviously wants to be taking those chances. But always worth saying. Very good for a centre forward to be in a position to miss big chances.
Sure, and it was a really big chance. But it was United creating openings, and as United did for the entire game. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So
as you'd kind of expect with that front six as well, you'd want to create chances, wouldn't you?
So the second goal comes. There was a little period after the drinks break once again where Sheffield United had a little bit of possession.
Yeah, chance to reorganise. United came out of the drinks break a bit slow, I think.
Yeah. But then, and I was kind of a bit worried at that because it was only 1-0 and United had these massive chances and hadn't taken them. So you think, oh no, is this going to be another one of those? But very much not, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka with some truly wonderful work on the right wing, just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, look, it was nice all round. I mean, Mason Greenwood and Matic down the left were sort of passing to each other for a while. A good ball inside by Matic, and then you're thinking, because it rolls to Bruno, he has 2 chances to shoot and doesn't. I'm like,
it's amazing.
It's one of the first times in Bruno's career he's not had a shot. Stephen Ireland's number 1 fan, Bruno Fernandes. You not been following this one? Oh,
no.
I won't spoil it for you. Just go Google Stephen Ireland, Bruno poster.
So Bruno Fernandes had a Stephen Ireland poster on his wall.
Yes.
Oh, that's
very special.
Glorious.
It's very special.
That's
I'm
glorious.
hoping it was the one in his white Bentley, the one that had the pink interior.
He liked a shot, didn't he, Stephen Ireland?
He did.
Maybe that's where.
Anyway, so Bruno doesn't shoot, rolls it across to Pogba, who finds Wan-Bissaka. You kind of think he's blown his chance, don't you? But then those spider legs are put to good attacking use, and he gets a great ball across.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that little tiny burst of pace, like microscopic, like
He's got that. He's got that.
Yeah, of course, and it just worked. A tiny half yard, less than a half a yard of space for himself, whipped in the ball. Martial's movement, or lack of movement in that case, he's just seeing the defensive liner going deeper ahead of him. He just stays where he is. I mean, it's very Route 1 centre forward play, but again, like nice snappy finish from that ball. So, and like you say, Fernandes involved in the build up, Pogba involved in the build up, and neither of them feeling like they have to shoot, even though the option's there from them. I thought there was a lot of patience in this. And actually, one of the sort of more broad points I was thinking is, I'd love to see the data when this is all shaken out. But to me, it looks like football without fans in the stadium is actually being played quite differently. There seems to me to be a lot more short passing, and it does seem to favour. In fact, on the coverage of West Ham's game yesterday, they were saying that David Moyes had said something along these lines, which is always upsetting when you agree with David Moyes. But in the
game, by the way, but yes,
it was
anyway.
the worst stepdad ever derby, Moyes versus Mourinho. But the first time ever that two ex-United managers have faced off against each other in the history of football. Remarkable stat that. Anyway, the commentators were saying that Tyler was saying that Moyes had said that it's not the fittest teams that are doing the best; it's the most technical teams. And United's level of tech versus Sheffield United's level of tech was just on a completely different planet. And
yeah, I mean, this may well be. I mean, look, there's a couple of really big factors here. They're not at full fitness yet. Like, none of the teams, they had a 3-week pre-season, basically. It's half the time of normal, and very few of them had any competitive games. United had the 2 against West Brom and a couple of sort of A versus B teams, but hardly anyone has had any real games. City didn't have any friendlies, although their third team is probably stronger than half the Premier League, and they've come out of the blocks really well. I can kind of believe it's strong technical teams that are doing well, and then of course it's the middle of June, so we've had some heat. I mean, not in every game. We didn't have heat when it was chucking it down in Manchester the other day for the City game, but some of them today, it was hot. It was,
really hot.
Late 20s, yeah. So that is going to play into it, especially when they're not fully fit.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is really interesting is how some managers are using subs. So not today. I mean, Oli made 5 at the same time, which was a kind of interesting way of doing it. The other day, Mourinho made only 2 against United. But there's a school of thought that says, look, if you have 5 subs, you can genuinely think about how you're going to use those subs. So traditionally, you play your strongest 11 and you make tactical or performance or fitness-based substitutions after that. if you change half your team, you can actually think about how you can have a bigger impact later in the game against teams that may be tiring when they're not fully fit. And how you do that is kind of interesting. Now, that's not how United's set up today, but it is a school of thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, worth saying that the 5 subs today, as it was pointed out to me by my friend Dom Mosaic, was Rashford, Martial, Fernandes, Pogba and Greenwood off, Mata, McTominay, James, Ighalo, Pereira on, in the single biggest net drop of quality in the history of a Premier League substitution. Now, they're not all terrible players that came on by any stretch of the imagination, but just the fact that there's 5 players, and it was by far our 5 best players who were all being taken off.
Well, it's the ones you'd want to take off. You're praying for no injuries at that point, aren't you? After the game is well won. So,
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Ollie's not always the best with his substitutes. I think he's growing into that part of his management game. But yes, it was good to get them all off today after the game was easily won.
And in spite of that, United was still good after that, even without those changes. I mean, Sheffield United down tools, clearly, but I mean, you could see Ighalo was pretty desperate for a goal. If he was slightly less desperate for a goal, there was a couple of opportunities to maybe pick a pass that would have served the team better. But it doesn't really matter or anything. But just they were still like Dan James, really bright, really kind of creative. One thing that we should probably say after your relentless agenda after the game on Friday night is Luke Shaw had a good game in this game and was part of not he was not like giving the ball away a lot in attacking phases of play and all those kinds of things.
Yes, I know. I mean, he wasn't under a lot of pressure, but yes, he definitely didn't. And in a similar vein, after your relentless agenda the other night, David De Gea didn't chuck one in his own net, which was positive. I think you'll agree. So
there was they had 4 shots, 3 blocked, 1 missed, so one save he had to make.
100%. He saved 100% of the shots.
I know you said you weren't going to mention XG again, though. Blame me rather than Ed for this. Would you like to guess the XG on the shot that he saved?
0.05.
0.01.
Hey,
it was the full 0.01.
1 in 100 shot. Yeah. Yes, we had a... I'm going to divert the conversation momentarily, then we'll get back to the third conversation. We're having a WhatsApp group chat about the probabilistic models of where United might finish, and there's about even chance of United finishing 3rd and 7th, and then a distribution in between about like 5%. And I did find it funny. Paul was like, I don't like these odds. 5% chance of finishing 7th. I was like, yeah, this means like 1 in 20 years from this position United finish 7th. I was like,
that is
dear.
A wild...
Maths 101 for Paul. Back to remedial school.
That is a wild miscalculation of the tone of my message. Not for the first time that Ed has wildly miscalculated the tone of my message. It's worth saying. But yeah... No, it was that 5.5% was just slightly higher than I thought. And was that for finishing 7th? Because actually,
7th.
It's actually a pretty
it's
low
quite
chance.
High the one that scared me was 25% chance of finishing 6th.
Yeah,
which is, we keep looking at Chelsea, and we talked a lot about Chelsea on the last game in the preview show. We're looking to catch Chelsea and finish 4th, guarantee a spot in the Champions League. We still don't know what will happen with City. Let's assume they are banned, and UEFA and the Court of Arbitration of Sport uphold UEFA's ban. So 5th goes into the Champions League. Wouldn't it be deeply, sadly ironic if we're pipped to 5th place by Wolves? And it could happen. Wolves have got a very good running, and they're looking strong as well.
Yeah, they won today again, so they're level on points with us. That we have a 7-goal better goal difference than them. Actually, I'm saying it doesn't matter that Ighalo. Ighalo made that pass, that shot instead of a pass to Mata, who was open. Probably, if we lose out on it by 1 goal, that'd be bad. I mean, worth saying as well that we're now 6 points within a collapsing, imploding Leicester City, who are going to have to do a lot better to hold on to
for sure,
place.
I mean, Leicester haven't come out of the traps well. Chelsea will see. They play City tomorrow. It would really help us if City win, and City are playing really well at the moment. So, I mean, we did say on the preview show, it's really hard to predict exactly how things will shake out. Teams that are not fit, How will home away advantage change? The lack of fans being there, changing the nature of games and performances, individual and otherwise. I think someone was pointing out that it's a great time for young players. No pressure on them now with no crowd there. They can relax a bit more and so on. Anyway, let's talk about the third goal, because that was a thing of beauty, wasn't it? Just lovely from start to finish.
And there was this kind of collective feeling around all of us, I think, about, this was going to be as good a chance as any for that awful hat-trick hoodoo to be broken. And Martial snatched at the one that Pogba probably should have had a crack at after skinning of 15 players or whatever it was that he did in the build-up. But
absolute thievery that was.
Yeah. But talking about build-up, the build-up to this goal was just... this is the dream, isn't it? This is like Manchester United's starting 11 is legitimately good now. And, and it's not perfect and there are weaknesses or whatever, but this is a good team across the board. And this goal really showcased the best of some of our talent.
Yeah. Pogba absolutely fired it into Bruno, didn't he? It's just such a crisp pass. And Bruno doing what didn't quite come off in the first half and flicking it around the corner. Definitely came off this time for Martial, and the 1-2 with Rashford was just beautiful. And you mentioned Luke Shaw galloping up on the left wing to make the overlapping run. And Rashford completely ignored him and played the ball inside, which was the right choice.
Yeah, it was. But of course, it's useful to have him there, isn't it? To pull defenders' attention and all that sort of thing. And
what about the finish?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Isn't it always nice when a goal like that is finished with elegance rather than like just a run-of-the-mill good finish? The dink over the key. Oh, it's just... I made a really, 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 really... really loud noise when that goal went in. Was it a
squeal? Was it a shout? Was it
no, it was guttural. It was quite deep. Not like the little giggle I did when Van Gaal scared me in the press conference. This was a guttural yelp of joy. The flick from Fernandes is just offensively good. Like you say, the ball from Pogba to Fernandes was magic, and then Rashford, I think it showed really good awareness, because Rashford could have passed to Shaw, or he could have passed it, or he could have had a kind of unfavourable shot, which, especially given that he'd kind of had those two chances and blew them, and Martial had the 2 goals, he could have easily been tempted into that, but he made the absolute perfect choice. And Martial's movement, again, was excellent, proper centre-forward movement. It's probably all has to be caveated in that Sheffield United were absolutely rubbish, and defensively on every single goal they were pretty well. Maybe not the first one, not much you could do there, but they were pretty poor. But I think United made them look poor. 2 changes
in that back line, which definitely hasn't helped them. Jagielka coming in, Egan obviously serving a suspension and injury, wasn't it? And they've had to change keeper, so of course that's not played in their favour, and United have played around them a lot in this game, but and to no greater effect than the third goal. Yeah, lovely all round.
Yeah, and then there was just one, like the subs were made. There was one moment where Wan-Bissaka put in a beautiful slid ball to the back post, which nobody gambled on, and kind of wished that one of the quick young forwards was still on at that point. But overall, couldn't have been a much better performance, really. Couldn't have asked for much more from United in that game. Dominated the possession, obviously created by far the best chances. There's barely an overperformance against expectation in the result. It's about exactly what you'd expect if this game was played a million times. It's going to finish 3-0 to United an awful lot of those times, isn't it?
Well, sure, but not when you think about expectation around Sheffield United's performances this season.
Sure.
They've been really tight. This is what they've built their campaign on. But 68 possession for United, 15 shots to 4, 6 on target, double the amount of passes. Every metric you can think of, United were completely superior in this one. And just a joy to watch. And shame no one was actually there to watch it, except for 40,000 static faces on the wrap around the stadium, which they made a super effort with, I think.
Really good.
Yeah, much. There's some that are basically glorified advertising hoardings, but United made some ads, but a really good effort to bring the fans into it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the stand that's on the telly the most, which is the Sir Alex stand, that had every sponsor that United have, all 150 partners or whatever it is, or it certainly had a lot of them. But the Stretford End and K stand, neither of them had any advertising at all. And there was that Sir Matt quote, "Football is nothing without fans," and both the kind of fan...
Apparently a Jock Stein quote, but, Hey.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So some say.
Was attributed to Matt Busby on the banner thing, on the wrap. But I really liked the 3-stripe too. I thought that was a really nice touch as well. Not just having the pictures of fans, but also just acknowledging the kind of the fan iconography of the club, not just the club's own iconography of itself, which is not something it always does.
Yeah. So, as good as we'd want it to be, really. No injuries, we don't think. Lots of chances created, more fitness, Pogba and Bruno in the team, goals, a hat-trick for Anthony Martial, a big smile from him, Graham Souness stuffed. What else would we need?
2 Rashford assists, a fantastic performance from Matic, just brilliant, just absolutely, totally and utterly, categorically brilliant performance from Manchester United. Something
great
we have hardly been able to talk about apart from the 20 games which we deliberately cherry-picked.
Yes. Well, all right. Anything more to say before we move to a short break and then get onto the FA Cup game this weekend?
No, that's all good.
All right, we'll take a break here and we'll be back with Norwich away.
If you want more from the show in between shows, check us out on the socials. We are NQAT Pod on Instagram, Ed's at NQAT Pod on Twitter, and we are under our real names on Facebook at No Question About That. So, Norwich lost again today. I think they lost.
They are bad.
Yeah, they are struggling deeply. I mean, the question then becomes, how seriously is the FA Cup taken at this point?
Well, look, I'm sure given the long break and the questionable fitness of everybody and the fact that the starting 11 played 77 minutes together today, there'll be quite a lot of changes for the FA Cup. I'd like United to take it seriously. It's a chance of silverware. It's a quarter-final. I mean, obviously, there's the Europa League to come. We'll see how that works out in August. But, yeah, when won the FA Cup for... 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. How many years is it? 4 or 5 years?
2016, yeah, we won it.
4 years. It's great. I mean, sadly, there won't be any fans there if United make the FA Cup, which will be pretty weird at Wembley. It's a pretty soulless stadium at the best of times, but with no fans, it's going to be even worse. But yeah, sure. Take it seriously. Why not?
Yeah, because the Europa League thing is interesting, isn't it? Because it's not really going to contribute to fitness and fixture congestion, really. It's more
exactly.
We'll put everything into the league and the FA Cup and then see how we're doing and see how seriously, A, we need to take the Europa League post-season competition, and B, who's left standing at that point.
Yeah, I mean, look, there'll be considerations to be made about the Europa League at that time. Like now, they've had a lot of time off. They are picking up fitness. You make changes because you don't want to have injuries. But playing every 3 days is fine for these players generally because it's a short, compressed period of time. At the Europa League stage, we might know a little bit more about when the next season starts, and it might be a very, very short break. The FIFA Pro are asking for a minimum of 3 weeks off. I don't think they're going to get that. They might get one and then going straight into it. If we know that by then, he might want to think about how they play the Europa League because you've then got a whole season after that. And that makes it a double. It makes it a very long season. Then you got to think about it, but that's for then. Now, I'd like to see the FA Cup taken pretty seriously.
Yeah, because obviously, if we are qualified for the Champions League, then the Europa League is just about how much do you want to win a trophy. Which obviously, like you do, that's a tournament. It could be really fun and could be great buzz and good feeling if United win that tournament. But ultimately, what actually really rests on it, sadly, isn't just the tournament for the tournament's sake. It's what you get out of it. So if we're in the Champions League, then obviously... But anyway, like you say, it's a consideration for down the line. The FA Cup, it would be fantastic. It would be a a lovely way to kind of seal the fact that this United team is now kind of a new prospect. You've got, even when we signed Fernandes, I think we were kind of both very excited by his early performances, but it felt like he was having to take the mantle over from Pogba. Now we really have the prospect of going into next season with a genuinely good team, and them having won the FA Cup and sort of laid a marker down in this back end of this season is quite a big deal. But I can't imagine we're going to see Rashford, Martial, Fernandes, Pogba and Greenwood all start this game.
No, it'll be closer to the game, the team that finished the game today with a few other changes. I mean, the other consideration, of course, is there's no reserve team football at the moment, so we're not going to get a whole bunch of kids. It's just the squad, right? So the squad is a squad, and so like the 25-man squad. So it's not going to be loads and loads of kids playing, but it will be quite a few changes, I imagine. I think it's likely they change keeper. Romero come in.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm pretty sure it's like that's your contract. I wonder if Romero would even play in that Europa League post-season.
We'll see. Assume Brandon Williams gets a game, and assume that Eric Bailly gets a game.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is Dalot fit? I mean, he had all those training videos on Twitter, so he's been training. Right. With Bruno Fernandes and Stephen Ireland. Classic trio.
So what we could see something like Williams, Maguire, because I think he's going to want to drop Maguire, Bailly, I'm going to say Wan-Bissaka, McTominay, Fred, Fernandes, McTominay, Fred, Matic, McTominay, Fred, Mata.
Dan James will play, I imagine. Igalo will start up front.
And I wonder if he'll play Rashford, because trying to get him among the goals kind of thing.
Could do. Yeah, or he'll play Andres Pereira, because he loves him. Someone's got to.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, dearie me. Andres Pereira. I mean, Norwich, their dreadful form going into the break has thoroughly continued after the break. I have to say, I haven't seen them. Having watched a great deal, often.
Yeah, well, I watched their game against Southampton. They were bad.
Right. What kind of bad?
They proper tonking bad. I mean, Southampton didn't have to be particularly special to beat them. So there's Cantwell. Everyone talks about. He's a nice young player. It feels like a stretch for me to say Cantwell can suddenly go into a top 4, top 6 side, but. Maybe, he looks nice. Max Aaron's the right back. But apart from that, they're all championship quality players, basically. And then they play this kind of open style as well, which they very much did against Southampton, and they paid for it. So.
Certainly, I haven't seen even highlights from the Everton game yet. Looking at the data, it certainly looks like they didn't create anything meaningful all the way through that game. I mean, Timu Pukki started the season in absolutely electric fashion, and also, of course, was instrumental in Finland qualifying for their first ever major championships in Euro. Weirdly, still going to be called 2020, even though it's played in 2021 for some reason. UEFA have made some weird decisions over the years, but that's got to be right up there. It's very kind of appropriate.
They don't want to spend the money on the redesign.
It's very appropriate for our post-factual society that a tournament taking place in 2021 will be called 2020. Anyway, what is probably fairly accurate to say is that Norwich, devoid of any kind of significant motivation. I mean, they could make wholesale changes unless Farke's kind of gone, well, give up now because we're dead and buried in the Prem. So
classically, you'd expect it. I mean, I don't know whether they have any hope of making a recovery. I mean, they're a long way adrift now. I mean, they're not definitely down, but
still only 6 points because nobody around them.
6.7 games. There have been bigger recoveries than that, I suppose, but it just doesn't look like it. I mean, I suppose they're fortunate that Bournemouth and Villa are just as bad at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Villa have picked up a couple of points, haven't they? Since the restart, they drawn 2 games.
I think.
Didn't they?
They drew today.
No, they drew today.
They drew
so
Newcastle today, yeah.
And Brighton have managed to pull themselves away from the whole mess, largely thanks to the generous contributions of Arsenal Football Club to the general football community, for which they should be praised.
Let's come back to Arsenal in a second. Carry on.
Okay.
While you've reminded me, I have something to say about Arsenal.
All right, good. And West Ham don't look like they're going to pick up any points from anyone ever.
That Spurs, I have to say, not all of the games have been super awesome for understandable reasons. A lot of them do have a pre-season feel, not just a lack of fans, but that Spurs-West Ham game was so bad. It was dreadful. It was easily the worst of all the games I've watched.
Yes, the two most evil managers in football history combined. The two most ruinous, disastrous humans to ever manage football clubs. No, they're obviously not that. But, oh my God. I watched the last 20 minutes of that game just in the sort of desperate hope that somehow West Ham would pull an equaliser out of their hat and ruin Jose Mourinho's evening. But they did not do that. Anyway, all this is by way of saying, come on, you cherries, or whatever, or Villa, whoever, just send Moyes down.
Yeah, and the two dreadful owners. Anyway, Arsenal.
Yes.
Arsenal, who in David Luiz have a contender for the worst, most disastrous, most calamitous individual performance in the history of any Premier League game. Just absolutely specially ruinous. What was Arsenal's response to this?
Give him a new contract!
Giving him a new contract. Wow.
It's the single... That club... and a lot... The words banter club get thrown around a lot, right? But... And it's almost reductive at this point. But that is an absolutely staggering level of commitment to being a banter club. This week, of all weeks, to give him that contract, that is some real elaborate performance art.
It's special. They followed it up, of course, because they gave Cedric Suarez, who's been injured the entire time he's been with Arsenal, a 4-year contract. He's 29. So, not many lessons learned there. Pablo Mari, who we have hardly seen at all, who came from Brazilian football, he's a Spaniard who's had no career of note, a 4-year contract.
Amazing.
Special.
I did see a rumour that there was chat about an Ozil contract, but I'm pretty sure that was an actual joke.
That would be
rather
special
than
banter.
Just them being a joke.
I'm glad they're taking away from our I guess you can say it's previous incompetence in this regard. I'm saying previous because I'm hoping that they are not announcing, I don't know, let's say a 5-year contract for Andres Pereira tomorrow. Nice lad, doesn't deserve it, but, it might happen.
But a nice lad who does deserve it is Scott McTominay, who's signed up till 2025 for United. And I'm sure there were some grumbles about that from some corners, but I don't think that's worth paying much mind to.
Well earned from McTominay, who's progressed a lot. Anyway, all that is a diversion. Norwich, we're going to spank them, right?
I am sort of reluctant to predict a really comfortable, confident United win just because I think there'll be a lot of changes and our best players won't be playing. But I do think our sort of second tier is probably enough, especially given there's a chance we might play Norwich's second tier. So I am going to predict a 2-0 Man United win.
Ooh, I thought we weren't doing any predictions.
Did we say we're not going to do that for the whole of Project Restart?
Well, you said it. It, and I was like, well, fine. If you don't want to get the expert prediction advice from Ed, fine.
Go on then. What's your expert prediction for this one?
I'm going to say 3-0. It doesn't look like we're going to concede a goal. Well, at least on today's performance.
different keeper. So yeah, we might not. Annoyingly,
100% of the goals we've conceded so far are us chucking it in our own net since the restart.
Absolutely. Annoyingly, Trent Alexander-Arnold just scored an absolute worldie free kick against Palace.
I'm not even thinking about Liverpool. Not.
I did greatly enjoy Palace's cut together trailer about their historic campaign, their historic chance to get a top 10 finish and
playing some other club.
Yeah, against some other clubs. Really, very good work that was.
Yes, no, I'm not. I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't exist for me. The only things that matter are the places between 3rd and 7th, and where United finish in that ladder,
and who wins the FA Cup. So,
exactly.
Glory, Man United. We'll be back on Sunday. I guess we'll record on Sunday probably for a Monday show. We tried to get this one out pretty quickly because we wanted people to get the first-hand joy.
Well, I mean, we don't have Europa League. We'll be playing Tuesday, Wednesday for the rest of the season. There's a good chance we'll be able to do that more regularly. I hope we never have to record a bloody Thursday night show ever again. That would be very nice.
Yeah, just to say we might have to record loads of Thursday night shows because of our own personal schedules, but not because of Man United's.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Europa League will not be played on Thursday nights necessarily. It's going to be a mini tournament. It seems like it'll be in Germany Germany.
The Champions League's in Lisbon, right? Is that right?
So it looks like it's going to be in the rural area of Germany, and it'll be no home and away. I guess we'll have to play that second leg against Lask, and then it'll be quarterfinal, semi-final, final.
I mean, it's very that could be if we've had a good if we've qualified for the Champions League. That Europa League mini tournament is going to be insanely fun.
It's going to be fun.
I'm really excited for that. But anyway, we'll get there when we get there. We'll see you all after Norwich. Have a fantastic few days, everyone. And I'm sure everyone is absolutely buzzing about some really high-quality Man United football. And let's also, of course, stay safe, stay well, look after yourselves, look after the people that you can look after, and much love.
See you next time.
No question about that.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.